Well, good morning to each one of you. You guys are a beautiful looking bunch. It is so good to see each one of you this morning. Now, we're going to start with a little bit of little story. And yes, everyone can be seated. We're going to start with a little story, and this is going to be a little spontaneous. Me and Deborah know what's happening, but just for fun, these guys here, we're going to surprise them with their role. So if they don't know what they look what they're doing, just laugh along, and make them feel good. So we're going to go into a story about two different kings, right, Deborah?
Yes, actually, we're just going to talk about one king this morning. Oh. And so let's make Eugene. Would you be our king this morning? King Saul. Everyone, this is King Saul. Look like a king, act like a king. Thank you. Yes, applause. All right, we are going to need a Samuel, an old man Samuel. Paul, would you like to get into character and be an old man Samuel for us?
Every go ahead. Oh yeah, a chair or here. That's a walker, I guess.
There we go.
I was thinking more of a cane, Paul. Right here. There you go. Yes. We'll really look the part, but very innovative there with that chair. Wonderful. Okay. And who else do we have?
Got a King Saul. We need Mother. Would you be our narrator? Okay, there we go. Need a narrator, Mom.
Okay.
And
Testing,
then
1, 2,
Kyle
testing.
is going to be our voice of God this morning.
Testing,
You've
1,
got
2.
what you need there with your
Testing.
Okay. Now we need to finalize this little skit that we're going to do, and we'll see how this goes. Is we need a herd of cows or oxen and a herd of sheep. So what I'm going to do here is maybe right down the middle, I'm going to split this half here, and this is going to be our herd of cattle, okay? And then I'm going to split this half over here is going to be a herd of sheep, okay? So we're going to ask Miss Grace here to be our lead sheep. So, and let's see, we need a lead
Ooh, Deborah,
cow.
lead cow? Me.
Derek is
Pick
going to
me.
be our lead cow.
Okay, guys.
So what we need to do to practice this is every time the story refers to sheep and oxen or cattle, we need the sheep to bat and the cows to moo. There we go. So this side, where's my sheep? Everyone raise your hand if you're a sheep. Nice. All right.
And everyone that's a cow? Nice.
All right.
Wonderful.
So whenever the narrator says sheep, oxen, all of that, we're going to pause and make the sound. I'm going to point to you. So let's do a practice round, all right? Here's our lead sheep, Grace. Okay, are we ready?
Oxen.
Sheep.
Bah.
Oh, that was very weak.
I was louder than you guys. Come on.
I
Speak
think
up.
we can do this again. All right, so when we say
Bah. Good job.
Much better, all right.
All right, and now for us cows, guys, I know we don't get to be cows very much, so let's give this all we got, okay? When I say cows, we're all gonna go, mrrr. Ready? Cows. Mrrr.
Good job.
Very well done.
Wonderful
Very well
job.
done.
All
Absolutely.
right. Very good. Okay, we're going to start with our story. Samuel, why don't you head over there, stage right, and Saul here. Actually, Derek, don't you think we need like a crown or something for King?
Yeah, you know what, Deborah? I think we do.
What do
now
we
this
have?
is very basic, but at least it's something on his head. So just picture this is glorious with jewels, and it's worth a lot. So probably not. There you go, Gene. Little tassels just for flair, you know. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
You look
Hang on to that
amazing.
there, Eugene. All right.
Very nice.
I
Okay,
mean,
why don't you
Saul.
step up here with your sheep? All right.
Sorry, bro, I know.
Wait, should I go over here?
Oh. Sure.
Go over on the edge.
Yeah, sure. There we go. All right. Are we ready? Okay. Miss Narrator, would you please begin our story today?
If anybody wants to follow along, we are in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 1. Samuel also said to Saul,
The Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Israel.
Now therefore heed the voice of the words of the Lord.
Thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he ambushed him on the way when he came from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
Oh, did you hear that? We had ox and sheep. So wait, let's read that again. Where's our voice of God? Can you read that last verse again?
Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
All right, so I have a question for you. With that verse, did God say to destroy most things or everything, including the sheep and the oxen? He said everything, right? So that means everything. God said to save nothing.
And Saul attacked the Amalekites from Havilah all the way to Shur, which is east of Egypt. He also took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and oxen. The best of the sheep and the oxen, the fatlings, the lambs, and all that was good, and were unwilling to utterly destroy them. But everything despised and worthless that they utterly destroyed.
So God told Saul to destroy everything. But what did he keep? He kept the best sheep and oxen. He thought this would please God so that he could make sacrifices and worship him, but he was still being disobedient to what God actually told him to do.
Now the word of the Lord came to Samuel, saying,
I greatly regret that I have set up Saul as king, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments.
And it grieved Samuel, and he cried out to the Lord all night. All night. So when Samuel rose early in the morning to meet Saul, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul went to Carmel, and indeed he set up a monument for himself, and he's gone on around, passed by, gone down to Gilgal. Then Samuel went to Saul, and Saul said to him, Blessed are you of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. But Samuel said, What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears and the lowing of the oxen, which
Now, hold
I
on.
hear?
Can I pause just a second? Since Samuel is such an old man, he's a little hard of hearing, so we might need to do that again to make sure he actually heard the sheep and the oxen, all right? Are you ready? Read that verse
What
again.
then is the bleating of the sheep in my ears and the lowing of the oxen, which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and the oxen to sacrifice to the Lord your God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said to Saul, Be quiet. I will tell you what the Lord said to me last night. And he said to him, Speak on. So Samuel said, When you were little in your own eyes, were you not the head of the tribes of Israel? Did not the Lord anoint you king over all Israel? Now the Lord sent you on a mission and said, And he said to me,
Pause for dramatic effect.
Verse 18b. Now the Lord sent you on a mission and said,
Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed.
Why then did you not obey the voice of the Lord, Why did you swoop down on the spoil and do evil in the sight of the Lord?" And Saul said to Samuel, "But I have obeyed the voice of the Lord and gone on the mission which the Lord sent me, brought back Agag, king of Amalek. I have utterly destroyed the Amalekites, but the people took of the plunder, the sheep and the oxen, the best of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal." So Samuel said, "Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he also has rejected you from being king."
This is a very sad, sad story. This is the simple act. God told Saul to do one thing, and Saul thought that he could please God more by doing it another way. He had his own ideas, and he did those instead of actually obeying God. All right, you can go weep off stage now. Thank you. Let's give these guys a hand.
How about a big hand for those
for
guys?
hopping in.
Wow. You know, Deborah, that is so true. So often we want to obey, but we want to do it our way rather than just what God exactly said to do. And it was kind of like, you remember what Rick said the other day? When he goes home and all his children are supposed to be in bed, rather than just saying, "Oh, Dad, we love you. We can't wait for you to get home." It shows him that they love him because they obey him. And it's the same with your parents and with God. Because we love them, we obey them. And it's a little bit like this rope here. This rope is designed for many cool things. You can tie a knot in it. You could do some really cool stuff. You could lead a horse. You could do anything like that. And me and this rope have a pretty special relationship, to be honest with you. And I have a name for it. And I think I'm going to name it Larry. And the reason I do that, I have a good friend here, Larry, this morning. And he's from Indiana. And I know him pretty well. And he can be a little stubborn sometimes. I'm going to be honest. So if you get a chance to meet Larry, don't. Just kidding. You really want to meet Larry and his wife. But I'm going to call this thing Larry. And Larry here is designed for a purpose. But sometimes, depending on how Larry's feeling, he would much rather be a stick, just like this. And now, this is not doing me any good. So Larry, on the count of 3, I want you to go back to being what you were. 1, 2, 3. Larry is specifically designed to do things. But then all of a sudden, Larry's like, "I don't like this. I would rather do something totally different. Look at what that stick can do. He can poke people. He can do stuff like that. I would much rather be a stick." But I'm like, "Larry, that's not what you were designed for. God made you purposefully, and he wants you to be a rope." Larry, we talked about this, Larry. Okay, I think I need a little help. On the count of 3, can everyone snap? Can we do that? And we'll see if we can get Larry to be what he's supposed to be. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys. So it is very important that we are obedient to what God says, and that pleases him the most.
When we're obedient to him, he takes the little that we have and he makes more. For Saul, God anointed him to be king, but he wasn't obedient to him, so he took even that away. So we can be useful when we're obedient to him. And sometimes the places that it's hardest to be obedient is at home when no one is watching. Saul wanted to please the people more than he obeyed the voice of God. Sometimes it's easier to be nice maybe to our school friends than it is to our brothers and sisters at home. But God asks us to be obedient with the little that we have, and he makes more. It's kind of like this bag that I have right here. Sometimes we think, I don't have much, and I need to do more to please God. And we think we're not worth much at all. We're just like an empty bag like this. We don't have much at all to give. But when God speaks to us in the little things that we use in our life, he takes those little things, what we think is nothing, and he begins to make more out of it. he begins to make beauty out of it. Our empty bag becomes useful to him when we are obedient to him. And you're going to have to give me a minute. I'm trying to find something in here, and I can't quite find it. Oh, there it is. Our emptiness suddenly becomes more when we are simply obedient to what he says. When at home, when no one is watching, we're using our gifts and our talents to bring him glory and honor, and we just keep those little things that no one else sees. We say, you know what, I would rather be obedient to God than do maybe what is popular, than what everybody else is saying. And then he takes those little things that we use and he adds more to it. And then we wonder, how did this even happen? God takes our little obediences and uses it and says, I can use this person. I can trust him with more. Instead of take away what he has, then he can do even more with you when you are simply obedient to his voice, and then he honors you more than you could ever have dreamed. Okay. See, look. Do we have anything more in here? I'm looking.
Deborah, is there more in there? This is ridiculous.
I don't know. I thought there was, and I don't see anything.
Huh.
Do you think this is what happens when we're not obedient to the voice of God?
Deborah, are you sure that stuff's not coming from under the table somewhere or something?
Under the table?
I feel like it might be.
I don't see anything more in here. This is not coming from underneath the table, as you see. And I'm sorry that I'm not seeing anything more.
Well, I think we got a lot more out of that than I thought we would. But just as you see, you think there's nothing in there, but then all of a sudden, it's a beautiful thing that God does with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And as you keep going more and more, he keeps bringing more and more out of your lives.
Mm-hmm. That's right. When we're obedient to him, when we're disobedient to him, he takes what we already have away. But when we're obedient, he adds more than we could ever imagine.
That's right. Amen. So it is very important when your parents, your teachers, anybody that's listening, it is very important to be obedient to what they're saying, because then God will use that in your life.
That's right. Now, we are going to ask all of you to come up on stage with us, because we're going to do a few songs with motion. So everyone stand up, and you can come this way.
All right. Half of you come over this way, and the other half this way, and smaller in the front, taller in the back, okay?
They were turned, I checked them.
There you go. You want your mic stands down there?
Everyone is looking so good. If you can't see me, you can come up front.
All the short little ones.
The little ones, if you
Come
can't see
forward.
one of us, you can come up front. Yep. Good job. Wow, what an amazing looking group of kids.
You guys
Very
are great.
Awesome. Well, we're just going to sing a few songs to finish out the morning, and we're going to start with a familiar one. I think you all know, Building Up the Temple.
Building up the
temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. Say, brother, won't you help me? Sister, won't you help me? Building up the temple of the Lord. Building up the temple, building up the temple, building up the temple of the Lord. Say, brother, won't you help me? Sister, won't you help me? Building up the temple of the Lord. Good job. Now we're going to do the song Wrapped Up, Tied Up, Tangled Up. Do you guys know that song? No, about half of you do. Okay, well, I'll show you the motions really quick. Everyone do this with me. We're going to say wrapped up like this, tied up, hold your hands backwards, then pull your arms around, tangled up in Jesus. All right, let's try that again. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. All right, and then the next verse we're going to go inside, step forward, outside, step back, side to side in Jesus. You're going to need to give yourselves a little space to jump around. And then the last one we're going to do upright, downright, living life for Jesus. Okay?
spin.
You got that? Okay, awesome. Whenever you're ready. I'm wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. I'm inside, outside, side to side in Jesus. I'm inside, outside, side to side in Jesus. I'm inside, outside, side to side in Jesus. I'm inside, outside, side to side, inside, outside, side to side, inside, outside, side to side in God. I'm upright, downright, living life for Jesus. I'm upright, downright, living life for Jesus. I'm upright, downright, living life for Jesus. I'm upright, downright, living the life. Upright, downright, living the life. Upright, downright, living the life in God. Very good.
job. Awesome.
Very good.
Now, the last song we're going to do is a really funny one called Making Melodies in My Heart. And every time we sing another verse, we're going to add emotion to it. So we're going to do thumbs up, elbows up, neck to the side, knees down, tongue out the next time, and then we have to keep every motion we did the time before, and the last time we're going to spin around, okay?
Okay.
Everyone ready to make melodies?
Okay. Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart to the King of Kings.
Thumbs up.
Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart to the King of Kings.
Elbows up.
Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart to the King of Kings.
Thumbs up. Elbows up.
Knees bent.
Knees bent.
Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart. Making melodies in my heart to the King of Kings.
Thumbs up. Elbows
out, knees bent, head bent, tongue out,
turn
turn around. Make
Good job, guys.
Thank you, children. You guys did so good. Hope you got a little bit of exercise. You are welcome to go back to your parents. Thank you so much.
Good job, guys.